It's another edition of Time About the Movies, and today we're taking a look at the two films of Memorial Day weekend 2005, May 27th to be exact. And coincidentally, both of them star Chris Rock in a very, kind of a rare thing, honestly. You wouldn't think that you'd think this would be a recurring thing and all, but Chris Rock apparently had the number 2 movie and the number 3 movie at the box office, and it was unprecedented, and it was something that nobody had ever done before this, but I guess Chris Rock was the first person to do that because he's in both movies. Two really good movies in general here, and well, it was a very good year for him because he also did the Oscars beforehand. But let's start with that first movie that was the biggest of the two new releases, and that was Dreamworks' Madagascar.
This summer,
Stop! Underpants!
4 zoo animals
It's a transfer!
are visiting new places,
Danger! It's all over me!
making new friends,
Hi there! Oh, gee!
and having the wildest adventure
Gonna face extreme peril.
on Earth.
Hey, little ducky!
Just where are you giants from?
We're from New York. All hail the New York Giants!
Madagascar, rated PG, starts May 27th.
I already screwed that up because technically the next movie was the movie that came before Madagascar, but Madagascar eventually did end up doing better than the next movie we're going to look at here. But I know I screwed up, but I'm gonna keep going with this. So Madagascar, they both made about pretty much the same amount of money in the opening weekend. So it was really that close of a weekend. But let's talk about Madagascar. As you see in the commercial there, Ben Stiller, Chris Rock, David Schwimmer, David Pickett-Smith play a group of animals in the Central Park Zoo who find themselves stranded on the island of Madagascar and must adapt to living in the wild. And yeah, this was definitely a much better movie from DreamWorks than Shark Tale was. Because Shark Tale was just a movie that was just obnoxious, just poorly written, horribly animated, a waste of a really good cast, bad story, and a movie that I have my own personal hatred towards because of what happened to this little beauty right here. But if you want to go check that story out, that's available on one of the videos I've done already. So go ahead and hit the link in the corner there if you want to check that out. But besides that, this is just an overall better movie. The story is a lot better. The characters are a lot better. The voice work by all the actors are very good. The comedy is really good. The writing overall is very good. It's a very enjoyable movie. It's a really well-made film featuring a lot of great memorable characters. The penguins, of course, are really great characters in their own right. And this was the start of the penguin trend that was going on in Hollywood, because we had this, then later in the year we'll have March of the Penguins, we'll have Happy Feet the next year, Surf's Up, we have the documentary spoof Farce of the Penguins. There was a time when everyone was doing penguins for some reason. Not literally, but there was a penguin trend at the box office. And it was certainly an odd time, but to their credit, most of the movies were actually really good, and this one was a really good film too. Like I said, a strong cast that includes some really good talent: Stiller, Chris Rock, David Schwimmer, Jada Pinkett Smith, Sacha Baron Cohen, Cedric the Entertainer, Andy Richter. A really fun cast overall. The animation can be choppy at times, and luckily with every passing film, it becomes less and less obvious because the technology gets better and better. But as it is, it works. The animation works overall fine for what they're trying to accomplish here. And like I said, it helps that the movie is much funnier, much cleverer, much smarter than something like Shark Tale was. It's a really enjoyable film. I don't think I need to say too much more about it. It hasn't already been said already. Great movie, really fun film. I really like it a lot. So let's get to what was the number 2 movie that weekend, but I screwed up, so I'm just going with it, going with the flow. The Longest Yard.
Sometimes the road to glory begins in the unlikeliest of places. The whole crew thought he was finished with football. The powers that be had a different idea. You're going to assemble a team to play the first game against us. The crew rose to the challenge and assembled a squad of, while not the most athletically gifted, certainly the most creative players to ever grace the gridiron. But the Allenville team is not without its star players. Tearing through tacklers with the speed and grace of a cheetah on the high plains of the Serengeti. Running back Earl Megan is sure to be a cause of concern for the guard defense. And let's not forget Paul Crew. This game is without a doubt his last chance for redemption. Game day is Friday, May 27th.
So this, of course, is a remake of the 1974 Burt Reynolds movie of the same name, which is also coincidental because he's also in this movie as well, playing Nate Scarborough. But Adam Sandler is the one that's playing Paul Crewe in this version. He's a washed-up former American quarterback who goes to prison and is forced to assemble a team to play against the guards, with the warden played by James Cromwell. You have characters played by aforementioned Chris Rock, Nelly, William Fichtner, a bunch of professional athletes in general. The guards themselves are played by people like Bill Romanowski, Brian Bosworth, Kevin Nash, Steve Austin. You have characters also. You have a strong cast in general in this movie. You've got, I mentioned them already. David Patrick Kelly, Burt Reynolds as Nate Scarborough, Terry Crews, Nicholas Turturro, Cloris Leachman, Michael Irving, Tracy Morgan. Courtney Cox has a cameo in here too. Rob Schneider, Jim Rome, Chris Berman. A lot of talent in this movie. This is directed by Peter Siegel, and I think that's very important to the quality of the movie, because really, this one did not get the best reviews when it came out, but if I'm being perfectly honest with you, this is probably one of my favorite Adam Sandler movies. I really enjoyed this movie. And yes, it's a PG-13 remake of an R-rated classic, and that's not saying anything against the original Longest Yard. The original Longest Yard is a classic movie, and yes, there are lines in this movie that have had to be tailored down because of the PG-13 rating. You know, the famous line in the original R-rated Longest Yard was, I think I broke his fucking neck, and they changed it to, I think I made him shit myself. Now, if you're going to ask me which one is the better one, of course I'm going to say the original is the better one. The one in the original is a much better joke in general, and the way to say it. And the movie, why does the movie work then? So why would I say that the movie works, even though I'm usually the one that's against, our PG-13 sequels to R-rated movies or remakes in general? This works because, kind of like with Be Cool, they got a good director who knows what he's doing. He has great rapport with his star, Adam Sandler, and he can work very well with the cast in general. And the stuff that does work here works really well. There is good comedy in the movie. There's a good mix of drama in there, too. Like, you get to see a little bit of that drama we saw from somebody from Sandler in Punch Drunk Love and Spanglish. And he's got a great cast of talent to work around with. He's got James Cromwell. He's got Chris Rock. He's got Burt Reynolds. He's got Bill Fichtner. This really great, talented group of people who can make this material work, and it makes for a really engaging and entertaining film on a number of different levels. It's a really good movie. It's a well-made film, and I really like a lot of what Peter Siegel does. I've talked about his work before in the past. He's kind of one of my comfort food directors. I know that most of his movies aren't that great, but most of them are very good, with very rarely one of them being absolutely terrible. I think the worst one I think I've ever seen from him is maybe My Spy, but even then, the My Spy movies, but even then, the first one is at least entertaining in some way, shape, or form. Second one's just your typical sequel in general, which isn't really all that great either. But it's not really a bad movie either, like I said. But it's a really good movie. I actually really like it a lot. Like I said, it's not going to do anything to change my opinion on the original movie. The original movie is still a classic, but as far as a remake goes, this is a pretty good remake, a modernized version of the storyline, a modern remake of this movie, and it is a well-made film. It's a really fun film, a great cast, great tension during the game itself. Like you know the beats that they're going to go down with in this movie, but even though you know what's going to happen, you still are invested because the actors are giving it their all. Like I said, Adam Sandler really is putting his heart and soul into this. Like, even at the end of the movie, the famous scene where, you think that Adam Sandler is gonna escape from prison, and then, he's got the, Bill Fichtner, the guard's about to has got the gun from James Cromwell, and he says, shoot him, like, kill him, and, like, you find out that Adam Sandler's just grabbing the football, and Bill Fichtner's just like, it's the game ball. Yeah, in the original, it's done really well. I like what they did here in the remake as well. It's the same thing, even though they do add a little bit of music to build the tension, which can be a little bit much, but at the same time, it still works to the film's advantage. It's a modern version of the story, and yeah, I'm willing to accept modernized versions of a story if it's done really well, and this is done really, really well. It's got a great cast, great comedy, great bits of drama, great sports in there in general. The tension in the game is very good. It's a really good film, and one I don't think gets the proper attention overall. It really does kind of get lumped into Adam Sandler's lesser films, but he was making really good movies, and this is definitely a really good, underrated it's kind of underrated, really. An underrated little Adam Sandler movie that I really like a lot. Definitely give it a shot. It's not gonna change your opinion on the original film. The original film will always be a classic, but It'll definitely change your mindset if you go into it with an open mind. I think you can really watch this movie and find a lot of value to it. It's a really good film. I highly recommend it. The 2005 Longest Yard. And so on that note, we wrap up another edition of Time About the Movies. Next time we meet, we'll take a look at 3 more movies, including Russell Crowe and Ron Howard's Cinderella Man. We also have The Ensemble, The Sisterhood of the Traveling Pants, and we also have Lords of Dogtown. So we'll take a look at those 3 movies all on the next episode. But until then, thank you so much for watching, and if you want to see more videos like this, please hit the playlist on the next page, check out the previous episode, and also don't forget to hit the like and subscribe button if you want to see more videos like this on this channel. So, with that said, I am off. I will see you guys next time, and until then, as always, take care.